So we've talked about the importance of history in a classical model. I'm going to break down what that history instruction looks like, or the platform that it's built under and the concepts that it's built on. So each unit or month is based on a particular card, which we covered. And a month-long unit, we deliver a couple different ways. Talked about this in the digital offering, where it can be delivered week by week, day by day, pre-built. Think of this like teachers pay teachers. So it's designed exactly the way it should be done and lessons delivered at a particular time. Inside of that build out, there's all kinds of ways to supplement or add to a particular unit. So we actually have AP advanced studies for the higher grades. We can pull in the great men and women from history from that particular unit that occurred. The Ethos Logos 100, the big debates that were happening at the time, source documents, those kind of things. Then we also have the buffet to choose from, and then kind of what it's like from the society and the Sprite model. And then finally, how that unit of history interconnects and ties in with art, English, through novels, musicians, and the great discoveries, so the cross-pollination of it. So the Sprite model, which we've talked about a little bit earlier, it's based on National Center for Social Studies standards. And they're big overarching. Really what they're looking and guiding towards is movement of peoples, how does geography affect peoples, and just it's not real specific. It's more big and overarching, which we've tried to include in. So we've actually made modules in addition to our standard history of the great religions, the great forms of government, and then the great thinkers, the great ideas, that all can come into a particular unit, again, to make it deeper and richer. So what our social studies program is built around is what's happening over time with culture. How does continuity and time change, and what does that do to human civilizations? What does the place and environment look like? Where, for instance, why did we settle around the Nile and start the agricultural revolution around there? So we kind of break into those places, and then individual decisions and developments. How does power and government? This would be under your Sprite model. This would be the politics. How does the government and the governance affect that? Production, distribution, consumption. Now we're into economics, science and inventions. This is your technology. So this is kind of how we built out our particular curriculum offerings. And then again, we include all the different religions and unique times that are happening. History is the arc. There are 4 major time frames that we repeat 3 times. So the children or the scholars will see a unit, a particular time frame and unit, let's say the Renaissance, in 2nd grade, 6th grade, and 10th grade. And then the questions and the complexity of what their understanding is going up with each exposure back to that. And then, of course, we tie in the English novels to the time period, so they get to hear from a story point of view what it's like to live, like we take Elie Wiesel's book Night when we're studying World War II and the Holocaust. You can actually feel and see what that's like to go through that process. And then again, science connects back with history, and then the arts connect back with history. So again, all these pieces keep intersecting and keep interweaving, and they'll have a whole series of these curriculum cards that will all line up, that a homeschool family or our classroom family can just go through and decide where they want to go and what they're interested in and what their family's interested in and what our teachers are interested in. Because we find if they're interested and intrigued, because history is so big and wide, then good things will happen. Our campuses and in our homeschool environment, we have Latin, exposure to Latin. And we try to do it through a more of a historical component rather than a pure language immersion program. So we're trying to make it conversational, word formation, vocabulary usage, and syntax, but really through historical context. And really, there's a number of research out there that talks about improved SAT scores. Of course, Latin is the root language for the Romance language, but it's also the root language for a lot of your sciences. There's a number of opportunities for kids maybe not to speak Latin in today's world, but to really start understanding a lot of your science terms and whatnot. In the 6th grade, 7th grade arena, we offer and open up the world of logic to your scholars. And logic is the step before rhetoric. So we're starting to teach the foundations of an argument. The red herring, the guilt by association, the slippery slope, the ad hominem arguments. And we're starting to show what those look like in action and start helping the scholar kind of make those connections about when to use them, kind of load their tool belt up with tools for the art of argument. logic can get a little mathematical. We've tried to take it more of a conceptual, so that the kids understand what these arguments look like in action and can identify them when they're being used on themselves. And then the final stage in a classical model is the rhetoric stage. And this has to do with ethos, logos, and pathos. It's the credibility of the speaker, his knowledge and depth of reason, and then his appeal to emotion. So we're letting them take those skill sets on their toolbox of logic and then apply them and really make them come alive and through the art of persuasion. Logic used to be an important career choice back in ancient times and through the medieval periods. But just think about through history, all those great folks that could speak well and deliver and engage and had credibility, how they changed the world. And that's ultimately the goal of all of our schools, is we want to really help our scholars really understand history, their place in history, the issues and the mistakes and the patterns, and then what their role might look like in shaping the future and making a world a better place as leaders of their families. Military, could be politics, could be business world, could be just a good mom and dad. Socratic discussions are a big part of what we do, and I've seen them start as low as third grade, second grade, but they start kicking in a little bit more in the middle schools and on up. And there's actually a protocol and a process for Socratic discussions, and we help our teachers understand that, and our homeschool families understand the nuances of a Socratic discussion. These next few slides talk about capstone projects. We've started to develop these out. They're kind of semester-long and or year-long projects that are worked on throughout the semester or the year. So they take into account all the things that have been kind of learned through the time. So in the fifth grade, we take it a little bit, it's not too complex. We take a historical figure from time that who has changed the world. And we help the scholars through that process. So by the end, they make a class-wide presentation about their person. Jumping up into the bigger grades, we do personal self-reflections. And then by 11th grade, we start offering, we call it junior talks, or so the apologia, which was know thyself. A little deeper, essential of a good life. We start having the big debates and the big discussions. They start tying those things together. And then finally in 12th grade, we call it the senior capstone. It's their transition into the workforce or into college. So we start having them explore what life looks like beyond the walls of our school. So that gives a general idea of a capstone and how it kind of fits in. Not every school does it. It depends on the age of the school and the level that we're at, but over time, we like to get to that point. And then all the information that we've talked to you today about and over this program as you go through it, is all research-based. And parental involvement, using assessments to drive instruction, collaboration between teachers, professional development that's serious and ongoing and specific, classroom management techniques, integration of content, so it's thematic units, pulling up prior knowledge, which is our concept of building upon seeing a topic 3 times while you're in our system, cross-linking of curriculum, high expectations. So just important that you know that all these components are thought through and uniquely work, and we've seen them work. And what we try to do is bottle that and try to kind of structure that so that we can duplicate that success in different demographic markets, different cities, states, families, ways. This is all pretty thought through and pretty specific on how we're moving forward. So hopefully that gives you an idea of Latin logic, history, and capstone, how that all ties together to help your child become a more whole human being.